Welcome back, everyone. We have Strickland, Anthony Hernandez coming up this weekend, and we're going to be watching some tape, looking at their styles, the best parts of their game, weaker parts of their game, and then how we're going to match up with each other and my prediction. Starting with Strickland, not a whole lot of footwork, stands pretty tall, relatively flat-footed, but this opens up his defensive game. He lifts the leg a lot, check kicks, and he also parries a lot of strikes, whether that's body kicks, the head kicks, or the punches. He will reach down and just parry. That's a big part of his defense, and he walks forwards, and this negates kicks a lot. So a lot of fighters, they have to use their boxing a lot if they're just going backwards and being pressured all the time. So it does negate a kicking game, and yeah, this really helps Strickland on the front foot, and it's a lot harder to touch him there. Now his offense, we have to mention the infamous jab and teep combo. Happens a lot. The teep, it is a really good teep the way he throws it. Not much telegraph on it, and it's just stabbing at the midsection. Could set up a head kick eventually in the fight, and it really just takes down the power bar a little bit, those teeps, and the jab, it's just more points on the board. It's just visible damage opens up, and it's very cumulative. Strickland's offense, a lot of volume in there. He's not really going to end the fight with one shot. So a lot of cumulative damage with Strickland, not so much immediate, but he's just chipping at you all fight. That's how his offense works. And with that pressure, if a fighter just has no answers for it, then this breaks them eventually, and Strickland will finish them later in the fight. Now, how would you take advantage of Strickland's style on the feet? I feel like Dricus du Plessis did a really good job of this. In the second fight, he was on the front foot more in this fight, Dricus du Plessis, and Strickland had to be on the back foot. And is Strickland respecting the power a lot, because Dricus would counter the jab a lot. He would also go for the head kicks, which really worked. And making Strickland go back, it's the opponent maybe not fatigued as much, won't will, and in the defense of Strickland, it's pretty hard to get to him, but Alex Pereira, the jab to the body and threw the hook upstairs. So that was a setup that really worked well for him, because Strickland likes to parry. Now I want to talk about Strickland's grappling. I don't feel like I'll need to talk about his offensive grappling much in this fight, but I want to talk about his defense, because I honestly think it's pretty underrated. You can see DDP took him down in that second fight. It was the end of the round, one of the rounds, and DDP beat him to the hips, but Strickland still recognizes this and backs up to the cage, and then against the wall is where Strickland is really hard to take down, and nobody's holding him down really. Fence really helps him just build back up. He goes for switches and frames, so he is really hard to control. And yeah, against the fence, not much control is achievable, so if you're going to control Strickland and take him down, it might be out in the open where that would be better. So that's a little breakdown on Strickland's style. And now with Anthony Hernandez, it's a pressure and it's a pace that really works for him. I mean, all his opponents, or almost every one of his opponents, they just gas out and lose really badly because they're just way too tired, and Hernandez just takes advantage of this, makes them quit. And how he makes these opponents gas out that badly? Well, grappling's a big part of it. You can see it on the feet. I think he has improved a lot on the feet. He does have some pretty good fundamentals. He will mix in a kick at the end of his combinations, which I think is pretty good. And he does have some nice elbows in tight, I think, at times. But what this does in a combination, and he will mix in a level change at the end. And altogether, this just works really well in the pressure. But again, how the opponents gas out, it's with the grappling. It's like he will hold on to the body lock, Anthony Hernandez. A lot of takedowns come from this. He is pretty good with the back takes, and sometimes he just won't even throw the hooks, and he'll just ride the half Nelson, and it's just really fatiguing his opponents. Just they always have to work because they're carrying the weight. Hernandez isn't, so it's the opponent working all the time, and they have to build back up, and this is just exhausting for them. So it's grappling that really makes the opponents fatigue oftentimes in a Hernandez fight. Now I also want to talk about Hernandez's flaws now. It's honestly it's the same problem Strickland has, but in a little bit of a different way. Is that on the front foot and on the pressure, that's where he's at his best, but going backwards and being pressured himself, that's where he gets worse. And on the feet, really, when he's getting pressured, say he's pretty vulnerable to leg kicks. Say Brendan Allen did a good job targeting these. And against a fence, I feel like he can be pressured pretty bad. But I'd say the biggest hole is probably the body shots for him, because you don't see him getting dropped by punches too much because he does have a really good chin. But to the body, he's a little bit softer, and we saw this a lot. It was Michel Pereira did a good job with the body shots for as long as he had some success. Is also Roman Kopylov did well there. So, is the body shots you want to target for Anthony Hernandez on the feet while pressuring him, and also the leg kicks. And this could disrupt a lot of rhythm and just won't allow Hernandez to put the pace on you as much. So that's definitely something necessary when fighting him. So we've looked at the two styles now. So how are they going to match up, and what will each fighter need to do? For Strickland, body shots, teeps to the body. The jab and teep is going to go a long way for Strickland, because I could really see him just timing Hernandez coming in with those, and it does disrupt a lot of Hernandez's rhythm and the pace if you just put mustard on him. And if you're getting him back, then that's really when the fighter's going to have an advantage over Hernandez. So Strickland just needs to do what he does and pressure away, target the body a lot in this fight, and takedown defense needs to be on point. But where you shouldn't let Hernandez be is your back. Definitely don't let him take your back, because that's how you will gas out when you fight fluffy. So now for Hernandez, again, it's going forward, and I'd say ducking under Strickland's punches might be the way to go. Say when he's on one leg, that's when you should look for the takedowns, and look to do it in an open mat scenario. That's going to be how he's going to get his grappling off, but he will have to make Strickland respect him on the feet. So definitely say try to counter the jab a lot and try to enter with combinations. Even clinch up for some elbows and knees to the body. That would be useful for Hernandez on the feet. But yeah, that's the adjustments fighters are going to make for me. But my prediction for this matchup, who's going to have a better chance stylistically to win the fight, I believe it's going to be Strickland for me, with his advantage on the feet. And again, when Hernandez does have a lot of pressure coming back his way, it does change the dynamic of the fight a lot. So with Strickland's defense, I don't really think Hernandez is going to be able to hit him too much. I do believe that he will cause problems with the takedowns after the combinations. It could be useful, and also some leg kicks after the punches would serve Hernandez well. But I see Strickland just as a better striker, and he's going to be able to hold the center, and I think he's going to do a good job defending the takedowns. And if he's working on his back take defense, that would be a green flag. So with those things together, I think that Strickland is going to have an easier chance to victory and can make a better game plan for this fight. But it is a really interesting fight, in my opinion. I think that this is really close. I'd say it's about 55 to 45 in favor of Strickland. So that's just how I see this. Just based on those chances, it doesn't make a prediction exact, and you can't predict the fight perfectly just looking at tape and such. So we're gonna have to see this fight, and after this fight happens, I'm gonna be reviewing it, doing a little breakdown. So I'll see you then, and till next time, goodbye.